Start recording. Start start streaming. 11:40 p.m. 16th of January 2026. It is Friday night. Somehow all of my things just got out of whack. Second. Oh yeah, so important. Um there's been somebody, it's like they're driving in circles, or it's like stopping and starting and stopping and starting, making sounds. It felt like they left, they came back. Um, I tried to make an argument so many times in so many places, and it feels almost like they just people deliberately don't want to listen to me. It doesn't matter what I would say. It feels like it doesn't there's some magic words and a magic like special way of putting things, and I just never seem to either say it, or they just genuinely like want a different response from you or something. There's some sense that I was never allowed to fully feel like this is just like a fascist takeover, and you've been like, that's like a theory, and maybe sometime in the future it'll be obvious, but in the moment I can't establish that without anybody saying, oh no, you're just somehow sad, and whatever COVID was, they learned to ignore it. Even if they got sick, apparently, um, they're able to tell me that I won't die. And they can tell, they say they got sick multiple times. It was debilitating for them. Um, they had this like horrible experience, and then turn around and tell me, well, you won't die. And mind over matter. And, kind of these dismissive notes of, even if they really genuinely mean well, you would think they did if it's really even the person you think that you're talking to. Um, yeah, how is it? There's always only like one person that responds to me. One. You'll message as many people as you fucking can. Go like, yeah, and it's kind of like losing your mind a little bit, because it doesn't feel right to message these people out of the blue. I haven't talked to them for years. Some people I don't even know who the fuck they are. I straight up don't know who they are. Like, there's some contact from my dad. When he died, he was in their friends list, and I just sent them a message saying that my dad died. I have no idea who this fucking person is, but like messaging everybody I can. Um, my dad never had friends either, right? Never talked about having friends. Never. There was some guy he told a story about who was supposed to work for NASA that had tried to calculate how many. That made an interesting sound when I how many golf balls you could fit in the trunk of a car or something. Um, and I think that guy died actually. Um, yeah, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Um, that's the person he ever talked about, and it was just like that one story. There's something else about yeah, leaving their car in a parking lot with the keys in it, like they were like spontaneous and crazy. I don't know if it was the same guy, but yeah, those were like the only stories he had about other people. Otherwise, he was alone. Um, I don't know who people are. Um, I found some. I googled the judge that keeps like denying my motions. Um, there's still motions pending. Yeah, like that. I feel like as long as there's like a motion pending, I am not doomed. But I don't fucking know. Somebody needs to prove that my emails aren't even like I could have emailed Obama. I could have emailed anybody under the fucking sun and they didn't get it or something. That I was like stuck in a behind like a firewall. So, I mean, how was I ever supposed to get help? I can't prove that on my own. I mean, like, go to Google. How do I prove I am stuck behind a firewall and people aren't getting? I mean, yeah, you just have to know how to ask the question. How do I prove I am stuck behind a firewall and people are not even getting my emails? Use a diagnostic tool to test an email port. Okay. Check your junk mail, verify addresses. A bounce back. Yeah, I get so many domain, what, those did not receive or it's, yeah, I just got one that said it was too large, which I couldn't help but take is like, is that supposed to be like a fat joke? Oh my God. I'm just having a really bad day. Test another device. Yeah, it's sent from phone, from computer. Verify the SMTP setting. I have no idea how to do that. Oh man, I don't want to do. I feel like I'm gonna fuck something up. Yeah, a tool would be better. Running stuff like they don't call this DOS mode anymore. They call it command prompt. I don't know why. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Yeah, way over my head. Um, The level of shit that has been going on, yeah, it makes me scared that someone is going to murder me. Why would you have me just tell everybody like how much you fuck? They just don't have time for you. They're like banking on people never having time for you. Because if anybody ever gave me the time of fucking day and really believed me, I have been harassed every day for fucking years. This was some bullshit. This was some serious fucking deliberate directed attack bullshit. Well, dead silent all of a sudden. Yeah, what you make a movie and you show everything that they did to you someday, but you have to like literally like show people like you have the person in their house, you have somebody pull up, they play sound at a certain frequency that is not a song, and it's not a melody. It's not like there's nothing. It's just like banging in your eardrum, and they do it long enough, and it like drives you fucking crazy and gets you angry. You can't think. Oh, were you trying to write an email? Did you need to make sure it was worded really well? Did you need to make sure you said everything you wanted to say? Like interrupts your fucking brain flow. It hurts you. And it is not music. It doesn't have a context. It's not like, oh, bitch, please, you live in a fun place and there's sound. That's not what's going on. Yeah, I felt maybe there was a little too much shit happening before for me to think as clearly as I could, but I could walk to work in the middle of and talk to myself when it was quiet in quiet places like at work. Walking to and from work. Like I wasn't always in my apartment. You made it like I had to stay in my apartment and then you beat it up with sound. Maybe I wasn't getting shit done as fast as I would have liked to, but like this was just a fucking attack. To prove disable the antivirus, send an email. If it sends, that seems like the opposite issue. Yeah, maybe firewall isn't even the right word. You know, some kind of like block. I don't know the right words. It's even harder to I'm at a level of stress that it makes it impossible to I can't think. I was looking for those. Yeah, right here, Mailer Damon. It's loading. Why is it delivery status failures? I mean, what if like every other time wouldn't it send a bounce back message like that? And yeah, that's me to myself, like, and I'll get the bounce back message. Somebody's like, you've been sold into emotional slavery. It's like, I can't figure what is a total joke to people. They're just like, They think your life was better than most and you're a big fucking like pain in the ass, and then they're gonna make fun of you. There's no sense of sympathy or help. They're just like, yeah, you have to know what they actually thought of you to understand. Like, yeah, they to them you're fucking worthless anyway. Like, they're not trying to, or if that's not the case. Um, Yet we're supposed to make you say stuff and you tell us what the fuck. I can't know what people thought. I can, like, I got a general atmosphere. Yeah, that's, it goes back where people nice and kind and smart and funny and no one really had it out for anybody, or like you were hated and didn't even know it. Like, absolutely fucking hated. You wouldn't know the difference because you were never like really loved. And loved as in like somebody wants the best for you, encourages you, wants you to do cool stuff. Isn't they're like yeah, it's like, hey, that looks really nice. Hey, this is cool. Hey, that was really good. Hey, positive reinforcement. Not you are going to be some sort of like, yeah, political passion play, and to the point where it almost feels like this life is a hell. Even though I'm a humanist, again, that feeling, it's a feeling, it comes up. But this life is a hell. It's not like a hell I deserve, like I did something wrong and I'm being punished. It's a hell like you were born into a world that fucking hated you. It hated you before you were born. That my speaker has been on for a while. Yeah, I guess I don't have the, it's supposed to last for 120 minutes though, before it just auto shuts off. Yeah, just more interruptive nonsense. If that's not supposed to just be the joke, they interrupt you. Like girl interrupted. You're a girl, they interrupt you. They want you to look like a crazy crying sad sap from a movie and then make fun of your emotions. Because you didn't join the fucking military or some crap. And yeah, they consider you a sad sap, even if you consider yourself an artist, like that just has soul. They consider you a sad sap. So that's where that. And yeah, it is annoying when teenage girls do this like thing because of that movie specifically. Um, like they wanted to be edgy and they wanted someone to care about them and they learned to express it because of the movie and the way that people do in the movie, which like I guess people went really hard on me about being a brat and the difference between being like emotionally expressive and being a brat, having a tantrum. There's a fine line. I'm not one to tell you where it is because it's going to be different in scenarios that I cannot know. You're right. It's classist, racist, sexist, genderist. It's bigotry. It's ableist. And, a lot of people just wanted somebody to care. No one was there. And then they get maladaptive in all sorts of different ways. And I have tried very hard to maintain a brain of science. And I don't think that rationality and emotions are separate. Somebody along the line tried to say, like, there's either like rationality or emotionality. That's bullshit. Like, when your emotions are well tuned, you have an intuition. Like, it's about well tuned emotions, not some bullshit. Like, you're not supposed to cry. You're supposed to cry and shit and masturbate, and these are like natural bodily functions. If somebody punches you in the face and you bleed, like, no, stop bleeding. Stop. Like, how dare you? Yeah, there's something about putting your problems problems and feelings on other people, and how to just, well, I think I am like, I must be the champion of taking care of myself emotionally. I am my own therapist. I am my own best friend. I was never like, especially out of what, high school, leaning on people like that. I didn't even trust people enough to lean on them, or expect them to, like, no one gave a fuck about my school. No one gave a fuck about my poverty. No one gave a fuck about my, like, I'm just gonna document it in stories. And that's how I know that they didn't care. Like, it didn't mean dick to anybody. Yeah, two stories in one class. One person writes about a love affair. I wrote about my sister fucking with me. Both of us got an A. No one remembers what the fuck we wrote about. Like, I'm the one that says, if your biggest problem is a, like, romantic relationship issue, you just don't have the same problems. If it's not intertwined with, like, being poor, having people abuse you, not having, like, a future, It's just like, this guy doesn't like me back. Well, he's just not that into you was the name of a book that always is like the ultimate. Find somebody else. Like, it does feel like you have a trust fund. You'll be fine, kid. I'm worried I'm gonna die in a fucking gutter. And now it's like, yeah, well, all those people with trust funds, they end up being like landlords. They end up being like the ones that run everything. And now they resent you because you were like, fuck you and your trust fund just a little bit. And that's why you end up in a gutter. Because you didn't kiss somebody's ass who always had more than you ever fucking did. Sound right? Like, I am running on, like, no food right now. I don't know what's supposed to happen. I don't know what I should think will happen. I am begging for help, even though I don't want to, like, feel subverted. But it is like begging, pretty much. I'm thinking of what I want to put the conversations I had to share them, but without sharing the names of the people, and I don't even know if it's like... But the point is the same. They just like... It's like there's this feeling of, oh my god, somebody finally wrote me back. Isn't it weird that it's only one person? Isn't it weird that they're still kind of telling you that, like... They said something about, you know, if it's between being homeless and in a group home, which so feels like someone has hijacked their fucking account and, like, they're just, like, working for the school or something and trying to get me to say, like, you'd rather live like you did at MHS than be homeless, as if that was the only fucking choice in the world. Like, someone's really trying to bend you to, like... Like, how dare you have had any complaints? And no one gives a fuck about what, like, happened to me? This is a crime against humanity. Do you mean that? Or are you just making fun of me? It's like, get her to say it. Get her to say it's a crime against humanity, because everyone thinks that's a fucking joke. Well, is it or not? I think so. I think, but you have to look at, like, the big picture of the entire planet and how everyone's life is being run in this demented, fucked up way. Like, if people realized they were deliberately kept in difficult situations to deliberately have this dynamic, and it's a power tactic. Like, they made you suffer so that you could show up in somebody's life and tell them to fuck themselves, and then ignore their suffering. And then all of you are too busy playing the, like, suffering Olympics to actually change the world or anything. And all of that shit was on purpose. And you should be mad. I think if it goes up into the red, it doesn't actually pick up my voice or something. Anyway, right, if we keep some people in poverty from the start, and then we give them opportunities gate-kept as we see fit, says, like, the ruling class, and then we pick and choose the ones that are grateful and do something for us, we keep giving them benefits. They keep going to our church, we keep giving them benefits. And then they have this, like, perspective where they just did the right thing, and somebody else must not have. And that must be the difference between, like, me and you or whatever. So it's like, if you're playing chess, they're like pawns protecting... Yeah, until they're elevated to queen. But they're still just stuck in a game. And yeah, that's what I was calling Candyland capitalism, because I wanted you to think of, like, a game board. It's not just about candy, but it's a good way to... Hold on. Oh, they want people to regret trying to change policing so much. Well, you can't say it's linked to socialism. There is no socialist, like, situation. Sorry, there's something like breaking apart in my mouth. Everything still has a capitalist economy. It's like the only way. Right, that's why they wanted you to be more specific, like predatory capitalism. Uh huh. Yeah, that's just straight up like a bit of tooth, like falling apart in my mouth. That sucks. Oh my god. Hmm. Everything operates as a mixed economy. Nothing on this planet is not. So anyway, yeah, Candyland. The image of a board, you could think of them as like gatekeepers, and that your people start off in poverty and they're supposed to make their way to success. Not even like wealth, rich, or why did it close? Not even wealthy, rich, or some Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Warren Buffett, Richard Branson. Who else is there? The guy from Nike. Super duper club of super duper rich people. Just like success. And success just means you're not poor anymore. Yeah, you're not supposed to be struggling so much that you're fucking depressed and miserable. I guess that's a... Right, and if you are, they'll just say you're ungrateful or something. Yeah, you don't have enough Jesus. Yeah. But that's the concept. And it's, you just place this board over like the entire planet, but you can zoom in to like different areas and it would be the same concept. Where they have the people go from poverty to another place, another situation, another status in life, and that's how that seems to be what people are doing. I've lost all energy, yeah, because I'm exhausted. I'm scared. I have no timeline and no information, and like, I think, yeah, every time I think I have a really solid argument for stuff, I feel gaslit. Somebody just says, no, you don't. They just deny me. I have, yeah, that letter of accommodation saying that they're going to email you stuff, and no one has emailed me anything, and they know that I cannot leave my room. And I feel like between they know I cannot leave my room, and they have said that they were going to email me, like, hello? I can't just keep buying groceries every single day to see if I got, like... And it's like, well, they're not going to care about you. They didn't already anyway. Like, if they didn't care, they didn't care. Like... I understand you are unable to leave to meet me in person. I acknowledge this. 2 days ago. God, I wish I would just write the fucking date. Because what, not yet? How long do you have to wait till it says just the actual fucking date on it? Like, that's annoying. Well, right. Whatever. And then what's the other thing? The letter of accommodation. It's this right here. Communicating with us via email. We already have this as an option for all tenants, so the process doesn't need accommodation. So I feel like it is completely acknowledged, even in a way that was almost like blowing me off, but still acknowledged. And it's like, what the fuck do people think PTSD is? Are you, like, you're not taking me seriously about it. Like, and how can you not care? You don't get to decide other people's lives like that. Well, if it was me, I wouldn't. I'm not you. If that's where the weird sense of dismissal is coming from. Yeah, sometimes, dude, that was they kept a lot of people in their homes, right? And they died already, even. That these people are never going back to. They're never recognizing this because those people are dead. And then they would also have to recognize that, like, there's a bunch of people dead. It smells like someone's burning something, but, like, very lightly. Yeah, it's not, like, as harsh as it was before, but... Yeah, you bitched about them, what, doing the same shit they've done every single fucking day? Boom, 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 boom. And so they stop doing boom, 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 and they burn something. And then you can't breathe in your room again. And what, just save this like a letter to the future and someone's supposed to get it eventually? Dude, they just wanted you to hate the same things they hate. I hate them. I don't know who they are, and I hate them. That's who should be hated. More than motorcycles or incense or bass or the street where people used to have fun, or... You're fucking psycho. No, and reestablishing yourselves as the rule of law. You don't give a fuck about anybody's interesting progressive political opinion. The persistence of it. You know, it's like every single day, some combination of the same shit. It's super rare that there's a moment that goes by and they didn't fuck with me that day. And then I make a video about it, go on for hours on end. They keep fucking with me while I'm making the goddamn video. And every single day. You can't get a point across about anything else. Because it's immediately like, I'm being attacked. It becomes a in the moment issue. And like, there's no way to defend myself. When was the last time I even got to the point of talking about what I'm calling Candyland capitalism? And now what? I have to wait for it to clear so I can fucking breathe. It's wasting my life. Another... Why does it keep listing calls? No, on my phone, this says spam. So, and it has no link on the internet to anything. I have no idea who the fuck. Like, someone's just been harassing me. Oh my god. Yeah, the idea that the ACLU got taken over by people and somehow put a barrier between you and anybody that would have totally helped you, like, years ago. my god, bitch, you're so dumb. That sucks. I've been doing really bad lately, like almost every game. I just feel like nobody. They put me in some demented position, just almost like to see what you would do. It's like a fucked up experiment. Yeah, whatever they just pumped into my room definitely gave me a headache. Yeah, you think they want you to really be at your best. Make sure you say the smartest things with the most perfect arguments. They want you to look like a fucking idiot. Yeah, if I could find out, dude, they've been denying your motions because there was no writ like executed. There was no, they never posted anything, so there was nothing to like have a stay on or something. Would have been like nice. Yeah, for all I know, that is the case. Like, oh, am I about to find out how cruel people can be? I got the point about how cruel people can be. You're having me watch people get murdered every fucking day. Every day for years now. That's like at least half or more of, or if not the whole entire day, is watching people getting murdered and then talking about human rights. As if it was like, can you come up with a brand new answer for like what people should say when this happens? Because like we're all emotionally totally fucking like spent. Yeah, there's a good. Just go right to that, but play it from here. Well, in kid, like as if I need context. I just seem like such a whiny, stupid bitch or something until like you get some fucking context.
Let me say a word about the current situation in Minneapolis. Last week, an unarmed American citizen, Renee Good, was shot in the head by an ICE officer in broad daylight. Instead of demanding accountability for her killing, the Trump administration's first instinct was to lie, to describe her as a domestic terrorist, and offer the officer absolute immunity. Instead of withdrawing ICE from the city, Trump has sent thousands more ICE agents into Minneapolis and is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act, deploying the United States military against our own citizens. In other words, The Trump administration's response to peaceful protest is a military takeover of a major American city. This is not only a disaster for Minneapolis, it is a terrible precedent for our country and the rule of law. Let me be clear. The American people are sick and tired of masked ICE agents shooting people, pulling them from their cars, and deporting people who have lived peacefully in this country for decades. Congress must deliver comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. I stand with the people of Minneapolis in this very difficult time. And together, we must continue in every legal and nonviolent way possible to oppose Trump's authoritarianism. These are dangerous times, but remember this: real change has always come from ordinary people standing up, organizing, and demanding justice. That is our task now. Thank you.
Real change, huh? Why does it feel like you swept out all the dissidents? Everybody that worked for all that shit through the civil rights movement. You drag people back through it, so now you have to fight for your civil rights again. But in a sense, nothing changed. From 11 years ago. No, I want something that's up through them taking away Roe versus Wade, and this is a year ago. Looks really marches then and now. Maybe I need to go to Google civil rights then and now. Segregation, voting, fair housing. You know, yeah, civil rights are race, class, sex, gender, age, ability, national origin. So, racism, police brutality, profiling, disparities, voting issues, economic inequality, LGBTQ rights, disability rights, reproductive rights, immigrant rights. And you tell me that it's we're not having to fight for the same shit again, as if that's all they'll do. They'll drag people backwards, make them go, and then they never change anything else. I already knew that being a good person was the right answer. They had already won. They dismantled that and made you start over again. Too bad this is an hour long. Yeah. Right, the fucking thing I'm making right now is hitting the 56-minute mark. You expect anybody to watch your shit? Some of it's 17 hours long. Yeah, I needed a well-thought-out essay that I had planned ahead of time. It's literally a stream of consciousness for a reason. I'm not having the executive functioning you super needed to make that perfect argument. I mean, that's clearly the video that's missing here. Is literally the video I would want. Go through every single one of these. Key issues. and do it then and now. I don't have the strength in me to do. I don't expect me to stay up, like physically upward long, and my back is fucking already starting to. I don't have enough food to like. Oh no, our robot is dying. Yeah, thanks for that. Pumping that weird shit into my room 5 minutes ago sure was like nice of you. I'm frustrated by doing something that's like 11 years ago because they hadn't dragged things back as far as they have now.
Civil rights movement. The civil rights movement was a social movement in the United States that sought to end racial segregation and discrimination against African Americans. The movement began in the 1950s and lasted through the 1960s. It sought to achieve full legal equality for African Americans by eliminating segregation and discrimination in all areas.
Right, it's intersectional. So, I mean, it's not. I just kind of want a different. I want it to literally say racism, police brutality, racial profiling, disparities in criminal justice, voting access issues, economic inequality, LGBTQ rights, disability rights, reproductive rights, immigrant rights. I wanted to say the whole goddamn thing. This. That sounds all too relevant. Hold on.
Social media has changed the game. I think it's changed the movement. Before, mainstream media could choose what it would cover and it could choose to ignore. It is democratizing the media. So I think that is what is different about this new burgeoning movement, is that there are a lot more voices, there are a lot more platforms.
I'm a protester. I began in Ferguson around the death of Mike Brown. I've been to many other cities across the country amplifying the work of protesters and supporting the work of protesters and using social media as a vehicle to organize and continue this work. We just have a different level of access to media and technology. I also think that what social media has allowed is that it's opened up the public sphere and blackness in ways that didn't exist before, that black people can talk to other black people in ways that aren't mediated by like a white moderator. And that's really powerful, and people can do it in real time. And not only sort of communicate, but use that communication as a way to build community. And I think that is like a fundamental difference.
No justice, no peace! No justice, no peace!
I think internet activism is very important. Social media has really been able to bridge that gap and be the engine that we go to and turn to get the information we need and to link up with one another. There are activists that I'm connected with in other cities that I've never met personally, but we work just as well together. We raise money for one another. We help one another and support one another through social media, through that device. So that's a powerful asset.
Social media has been huge. A lot of the cases that have been flashpoints and have been like really central to activating people, those are all cases that were largely ignored initially by the media. Trayvon Martin's case, we probably would not have known about it had it not been for social media. Ferguson, Mike Brown, Sandra Bland, we probably would not have known about, because these were all cases that were in many ways being ignored by the media, covered up, pushed aside by the police.
Anyone standing in the street is subject to arrest.
There was a good maybe 4 or 5 days when the community of Ferguson was under siege by their police. It was about 5 days of people just like tweeting on social media and just trying to get this hashtag Ferguson going before we actually had national outlets going into Ferguson and really putting cameras down and bringing the nation's attention to what was happening there. So social media has been very critical.
Congress passes the most sweeping civil rights bill ever to be written into the law. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is signed at the White House by President Johnson.
But even as Johnson was enshrining civil rights into what he called the books of law, he knew that the response to the measure would challenge not only his presidency, but the entire nation.
It was a game changer, the creation of a new America.
The Civil Rights Bill, it lays out all of these divisions in American society, whether it's social divisions, cultural divisions, racial divisions. Suddenly, you can't escape from them anymore.
It completely unravels the entire social system of segregation in the South, the very foundation upon which the quote-unquote Southern way of life is built. It's revolutionary.
90% of all the white people in the Deep South thought, oh my God, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 means what? What do you mean you're going to tell me who I have to serve? They're going to be in the same place as me?
In 1964, race is coming to a boiling point. The Civil Rights Bill is on the table. Republicans and Democrats are arguing over, debating over, what will this mean to the country?
It was going to end segregation in all places of public accommodation. Restaurants, swimming pools, bus stations, train stations. It was a huge political gamble because Johnson is running for president. Is he going to alienate all those Southern segregationists?
If that meant that the Democratic Party was going to forego Southern support, so be it. Chips were down.
By early June, Southerners in Congress had been successfully blocking the bill for more than 2 months, and there was no reason to assume they would back down.
The problem for Johnson in pushing through the Civil Rights Bill was the same problem it had been for Kennedy and for anyone who wanted to promote civil rights. You had this solid, deep South core of senators solidly opposed to any federal action on civil rights, and a handful of other conservative Republicans outside the region, which made it impossible to move forward.
The South in the Senate has, through the filibuster and the threat of the filibuster, defeated every strong civil rights bill for almost a century. There is no sign that this is going to change.
To defeat the South's filibuster and break their stranglehold on the measure, Johnson needed 67 votes in the Senate. That meant 23 Republicans had to cross the aisle and support the bill.
What Lyndon Johnson had that John F. Kennedy didn't was an unbelievable power to sway legislators. There was this thing called the Johnson treatment. And he kind of plant his shoes next to you. He'd tower over you. He'd literally grab your lapels. His hot breath would be 6 inches in front of your face.
I mean, this is the other side of Lyndon Johnson. He doesn't just have the ideals. He knows how to push the levers.
He had this politician's gift for knowing exactly what each person he was trying to persuade's vulnerabilities were. And he would hit them like a jackhammer.
Man, that sounds like dirty tactics. Yeah, I don't know about that.
But if the senator said, you know, that's going to kill me with my constituency, he would refute, he would cajole you.
Right, but it was for the good guys. As long as it's always for the good guys, who cares what they do? I mean, you know how that works out. Like, somebody thinks they're a good guy and they're not.
Or threaten you or bribe you. Anything he had to do to get your vote. Richard Russell, the leader of the South, says flatly, we could have beaten Kennedy on civil rights. We could have stopped him in the Senate. But Lyndon Johnson, he says, will beat us. He'll tear your arm off at the shoulder and beat you over the head with it. But he will get this passed. We're going to lose.
In the end, on June 19th, after the longest filibuster in the Senate's history, 27 Republicans voted for the bill. Only 6 voted no.
Now, Mr. Marshall, you are from Baltimore, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Balmer.
Why are you paying?
And my screen froze up.
Now, Mr. Marshall, you are from Baltimore, aren't you?
Yes, sir. Balmer.
Why are you paying, Mr. Marshall, to attend our little Howard Law School and not going tuition free to the prestigious University of Maryland?
I happen to be a Negro.
I see. And Negroes do not attend the University of Maryland, is that correct?
No, sir. I mean, yes, sir. Negroes don't attend Maryland.
Why is that? Who knows what that signifies?
A lawsuit. Down south somewhere.
Louisiana, wasn't it, sir?
That's right, 1896. What was it about?
Jim Crow?
That's a label, not an explanation.
Segregation, sir.
Plessy, Mr. Hill, is why you ride here from Richmond, Virginia in a racially segregated train. Plessy, Mr. Durham, is why no one in this room can eat in most of the restaurants here in the capital of the world's greatest democracy. And Plessy, Mr. Marshall, is the reason it is against the law in 17 states for black children to go to school with white children. There are two kinds of lawyers, gentlemen. There are my kind, and there are parasites on society. My kind of lawyer is going to be a social engineer. My kind of lawyer is going to be a fighter for social change. My kind of lawyer is going to find out everything there is to know about Plessy, because Plessy is a dragon gentleman, and my kind of lawyer is going to go out and slay it. That's why you're here, Mr. Marshall. Or it had better be. And if it's not, you'd better pack up and leave right now, because you will not make it.
From the start, Dean Houston had us up and arguing the ins and outs of segregation cases, especially Plessy.
Now, the accommodations in the Negro car are the same as those in the whites-only car. They are separate, but they are equal.
Well, no objective observer would call those accommodations equal, Your Honor. But that's not the point. My client, Mr. Homer Plessy, preferred to sit in the car designated whites only and was arrested in violation of his constitutional rights.
His client, Homer Plessy, purposely broke the laws of the state of Louisiana.
But that law requires whites to sit in one car, Negroes to sit in another. That's discriminatory. It violates the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Mr. Hill, refresh my memory. Tell me exactly what the 14th Amendment says.
Exactly?
Well, since your entire case rests upon it, I don't think that's unreasonable.
No state shall make or enforce any law which abridges the privileges of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deny to any person the equal protection of the law.
Okay, counsel. What does the 14th Amendment have to say about the segregation law that Mr. Plessy broke?
The 14th Amendment says that the state of Louisiana can't legislate away the rights and privileges given him by the federal government.
And just what rights are we talking about?
The right to be treated the same as any other person. Not as a second-class citizen, a social...
Parasite. I mean social inferior. Look, under the 14th Amendment, the law can't deprive us of freedoms other people have, simply because we're Negroes. Well, can it?
No, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 that they can keep you from going places white people can go. Racially separate facilities may be maintained by the states as long as they are equal. Segregation is not discrimination.
So, everybody's equal, but Negroes can be treated like outcasts. That's
just... The Supreme Court said that the guarantee of equality has limits. It does not require social equality.
But I don't see how that comes from the 14th Amendment, Dean Houston.
Oh, they said that was self-evident.
Self-evident? What, that white people are more equal than Negroes?
Well, the courts thought that was all in your mind, Mr. Marshall. And I quote, "The assumption that enforced separation stamps the colored race with a badge of inferiority," they said, "is solely because the colored race chooses to put that construction upon it."
We chose.
Easy, Mr. Marshall. Lose your temper, lose your case. For 35 years, the Supreme Court of the United States has resisted every attempt to overcome segregation by saying, "See, Plessy." Every attempt to overturn the last vestiges of the slave codes by saying, "See, Plessy." Every attempt to open that door just a little bit so that we can become the people that we know we can become by saying, "See, Plessy." If you survive here, gentlemen, you will join a handful of Negro lawyers in this whole country who have been rigorously trained. And with that distinction comes a truly enormous responsibility. We have to change the laws that keep our people down. We must pave the way to the future. Without education, there is no hope for our people, and without hope, our future is lost. So we must use the power and the logic of the law to stop the humiliation and the crippling of our children in disgraceful segregated schools. And we're going to have to accomplish this in the face of a Congress dominated by segregationists. We'll have to face the fact that no president since Abraham Lincoln has fought for Negro rights. And what that means is this. We're going to have to go to court, to the highest court in the land, to destroy Plessy. And we're going to have to be twice as good as the white lawyers that oppose us at every turn. We must not give in. We must not fail. Gentlemen, congratulations to all of you. My 9 survivors, the men of the class of 1933.
Right, that bring it up to today. Open to TikTok. And I need to find the Amber Ruffin bit again. Where she explained, like, that, you know, there is no time that was like. It's going to take me a second to scroll. I know it was here because I just watched it like 2 nights ago. Yeah, I do immediately get caught on, they said it was in your head. I just talked about that 5 minutes ago. But in relation to COVID. And essentially somebody telling me it would be like mind over matter. And I see the parallel. I'm not sure if someone else... Right, there you go. And that's just in your head too, isn't it? That's fucked up. Yeah, how much an individual should ever be believed talking about the turmoil of their own experience. And yeah, there is also the idea that, like, are you being utilized in some kind of, like, you know, they talk about the Matrix and everybody's in a pod. Only, I mean, if you had every brain working towards any given issue and they all were making arguments, you gotta be able to come up with the world's best issue. And then you put that in like an AI algorithm, and then then all you have to do is ask Google. And Google will sort through everything everyone has ever said in the history of all mankind, humankind, peoplekind, and fucking come up with, like, the best goddamn thing anybody could ever say about any argument. As long as it isn't full of bullshit, like what all the bad people said, like their counter arguments that didn't win, then I guess you're gonna ruin that algorithm. But yeah, you could literally have an AI that has sorted through every positive civil rights dictation, not even sure if that's the right word, statement that has ever been said. Because there is something to, like, you know, 2 minds are better than one. The way that guy had memorized the 14th Amendment, I don't know what the 14th Amendment is right off the top of my head. It almost becomes like an ableist issue. You could have all the good intention in the world, and I can't remember every little fucking thing that I'm supposed to put into this argument. And it's not because you're stupid or something. You just, like, are not a robot. And it would take 10 times as long. I mean, you're lucky you have the internet. Because, yeah, I could just look it up. And it'd still take 10 times as longer than somebody who had memorized it. Like, and you just can't memorize all the things to have the perfect argument all by yourself. Well, and then, okay, here's that. He said, you know, nobody since Lincoln. But then this is the modern understanding of Lincoln. So, and it didn't play sound. Oh, let me change. I've got some equalizer. Yeah, it's like with all the advancements, you also need to care about, like, people are still human. Be patient. Give me a second. You're gonna have to give me a second. And it's like, no, we got somebody that knows everything they want to say like that, and they can do this, like, so fast. Like, they are a DJ for human rights. And you take too long. I'm trying my best. What, don't replace me? The sad thought process.
Every morning this month, I wake up and look to see what's waiting for me under the Tubman tree. Will it be a white person telling me what Martin Luther King would have wanted? Or, better yet, someone saying, why do we need a Black History Month? How would you like it if we had a White History Month? You might be thinking that's crazy. The only reason we know about such notable white achievements as Betsy Ross's apparently groundbreaking ability to use a needle and thread, or Paul Revere's remarkable ability to scream and ride a horse at the same time, is because every month is White History Month. But hear me out. I think we do need a White History Month because the American history that's...
See, I don't feel attacked by that at all. It's a fact. You'd have to do, look at people that are still the first, and how recently they're the first Black person that did XYZ. It was a really good, quick example of, like, this is still a problem. It's not like they're wrong. Right, you still haven't had a lady president. You still haven't had a Black lady president. Like, and yeah, it's like somebody out of the corner of my mind, you could say, is like, bitch, you haven't had a Native American president. You haven't had people from, like, any other culture or background that has built this goddamn country. They're, like, not even factored in when this conversation gets, like, and yeah, I Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, I know. Don't worry, it's not like I'm saying you don't count. And then someone else, like, over says, bitch, people, you're the one that doesn't count. Why are you even talking? And it's like, I don't think my friends thought of me that way. I knew people from every fucking background on earth. I don't know where the fuck you're coming from, where you're telling me that no one gives a fuck what I think so much that I shouldn't even exist. Yeah, you might not be the closest friends. They might not be in your life now, but they never acted like you shouldn't just fucking exist. It's like this new person I never knew before is the one that says that shit. Yeah, 2023, first Black astronaut. I guess, yeah, it'd be nice if there was a longer list. Yeah, the point is, it's like now. Was something about Beyonce being the first person that made that much money since Oprah? Yeah, something about Rihanna. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember stuff. Hold on. They're Indian and non-binary. Vade. Since they popped up on the side here. Gender non-conforming Indian American. Yeah, let me get to some non-binary people, and holy shit, there hasn't been anybody, like... Yeah, being non-binary is so squashed that, like, I can't even... Like, I want to call myself that, but I want an understanding that of my, like, it's like a discussion. It's not even... And you can't even have that discussion. First LGBT African American to serve in the Senate. Elected as president of the Academy of Dermatology. Descendant admitted to the Daughters of the American Revolution. That seems like a big deal. Oh, first to achieve national master. Why the fuck did you hear? Oh, right. Wasn't it like the mayor of fucking Philadelphia or something? And you didn't hear about it at all? Like, at all. Like... Was it Philadelphia? First... I gotta get my facts straight. Black mayor... recently or something. I don't know, was it mayor or governor or... Mayor? No, it was like... The first female mayor. Sorry. Just first female, period. Of Philadelphia. In 341 years. Yeah. Didn't hear a goddamn thing about it. And that was in 2024. Yeah, it was well into 2025 before I found out. Yeah, I see that split suddenly in my mind. Like, there's a bunch of people, they thought it was going to be the end. There wouldn't be a hierarchy society. There wouldn't be... And it's like, that spit in the face of everything they thought was possible. Everything since 2020 was just spitting in their fucking face. I feel that. And it's like, I didn't learn enough to know what even could have been before. Like, I was learning as we were going through the discourse of 2020. I had not been raised in some understanding that maybe someday you wouldn't have hierarchies. Far from it. They talked, like, I got in trouble in school because I didn't follow the chain of command when I complained about something. Like... It couldn't be farther from some idea that you'd ever have, like, a new situation. And it was, like, radical, positive radical, and... Well, yeah, I want to say interesting, but that kind of makes it, like, Disney-fied. Oh, it was so interesting and cool to find out all these different things that maybe life could be someday. I'll put it in a sci-fi story. And those were things those people had been, like... genuinely working for and thought were going to be real for like decades. I had no fucking idea. We didn't even talk about Malcolm X, much less like, or even like, I don't know who Chairman Mao is, or Lenin. They're bad guys, right? Like, that was like it. I don't remember a single class. Yet we talked about the Holocaust. We watched Holocaust movies. You know, the Holocaust is bad. That was really simple. Yet killing people is bad. That was really simple. That was pretty, securely taught. But the idea you'd ever, like, have society function different wasn't even a concept. Yeah, I'm still weirded out about how much people in both high school and then when I moved to Portland liked fucking Ayn Rand. And I didn't really understand who the fuck Ayn Rand was or what she stood for. To be like, she's just another historical figure. And not like a giant red flag. Yeah, I learned 90%, like Hassan Piker talks about communism and socialism in this almost like really casual, joking. I need like I need to look up stuff on Google as we're going to keep up with him. It's like he's known it so much he makes jokes about it. And I still like haven't memorized this. And it's, I don't know, the centerpiece of what a lot of people thought could ever happen. Like, they've grown up with it. We never talked about it. I'm a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. We never memorized universal human rights in school. I did that on my own. I also weirdly felt, I mean, again, someone's like fucking with my internet or something. I haven't gotten like help the way that you could have thought you'd get help from the DSA. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, who you think a conservative, theocratic, military-based something took over your life and just wants to use you for a political game of chess? Yeah, and what? They could have made me feel like a queen, but, like, sometimes I'm such a square. And I'm mad because I don't want to be on a chessboard being played with. Yeah, like, you have no idea where this is going. Maybe they sacrifice you just to get the other queen. You're just a game piece to them. Yeah, somebody thought you might, how could they have used you in a way that, like, made them happy? Well, she'll make us look good. She's our little orphan Annie. She's a poor kid that's gonna be like, please, Daddy Warbucks, save me. And then, be some kind of bridge to my school? So you can just at least have the illusion that, oh, look at all these people we helped. They're all different backgrounds. They're all into, like, they know that they have to work hard to have a life. They have to break the cycle of poverty that was ingrained in them. So they're what we call, like, good kids. And they're all different backgrounds, visually, so just don't ask who's an atheist or not, because most of them are Christian. Most, not all, but most. And that's fine to be a Christian in its own right, but you see we're like... Yeah, it's like someone built a society that looks a certain way so they don't have to even care about race anymore. And their goal was to just not give a fuck. Because everyone's just going to be poor, and they're going to work real hard, and if you kiss my ass the right way, I will bless you. Yeah, like, you're just like my pet. Of course, you're not supposed to feel that way. Because it kind of ruins it, I guess. To recognize that you're just like somebody's pet. And I have always been a pain in the ass. I wonder why it seems like someone was bent on actually making your life a bad story. Yeah, and the more you say it, the more it's exactly what you're saying, where you're not being useful to the powerful people, and that's why they want to make you a bad story. You can say by default they must have more resources than you do. Because I don't have the resources to fuck with anybody like this. And then there goes my speaker got shut off. As if to reach their hand into my room and punish me for, like, making a point. Which also makes me feel stalked. And they would love if you just looked crazy and stupid and dismissible. Because you're not fucking helping them get something they wanted. By saying that they must have more resources than you and are using you. That's not going to make them look good, is it? And you think they're religious? Probably. It's a good guess. Just because I am not, and I haven't met enough people that also are not. To feel different. And yeah, I haven't really met any Muslims or Jewish people either. It's like so largely overwhelmingly Christian. Right, let's record this bullshit because I can't. It just suddenly isn't working unless you have to go through it a weird way. Yeah, great. Anyway, here's the rest of this video that talks about Lincoln not being such a fantastic character of history as he has been held up to be.
Taught in schools is so whitewashed, we don't learn the real story. We learn lies like George Washington chopping down a cherry tree, but not the fact that George had 18 slaves before he turned 18. 18 slaves. When I was 18, I didn't have 18 shirts. I had 3 shirts, and they all looked like this. Each one of them cuter than the last. We learned that Abraham Lincoln said 77 years ago, but not that he said, am not nor ever have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of the black and white races. There must be the position of superior and inferior, and I am in favor of having the superior position assigned to the white race. They don't put that on the penny, partially because it would make the penny too long, and partly because our schools don't teach an honest version of American history. And that's why we need White History Month. History shouldn't just be a list of names and dates. It's supposed to give us context for the present. How can we learn about Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass and MLK's response to inequality without understanding the true history of the country that enshrined that inequality into law? For example, in regular history, they tell you the Second Amendment was created to protect against tyranny. But during White History Month, you would learn the truth. That the right to bear arms was added to the Constitution so white men could keep their slaves in check. That is a true fact. See how much we're learning? White History Month is fun. I hope you're taking notes in your White History Month Trapper Keeper. See, at the time the Constitution was written, most states required every able-bodied man who lived there to serve on a slave patrol. These states had posses of white men to keep black people in line. And in the 1700s, they didn't have the kind of advanced adhesive technologies we have now. So slaves couldn't wear name tags. So the slave patroller guys just stopped every black person. Over time, those slave patrols eventually evolved into militias, and during the Revolutionary War, those militias became the American Army. And when the war ended, America had a bunch of roving bands of men who had guns, so they put those men in charge of putting down slave rebellions. And eventually, they put them in charge of enforcing all the laws, or as they called it back then, policing. If you're still taking notes, I bet your Trapper Keeper just exploded. Now, when the southern states decided they'd rather own human beings than be part of America, these militias became the Confederate Army. And after the Civil War, the militias came back home with nothing to do. So a few of them started a fun fraternity called the Circle of Brothers. Now, you've probably never heard of the Circle of Brothers fraternity because they always lost at the homecoming step shows. Plus, they used their Greek name, Kuklos, meaning circle, and of course, Klan, meaning family. You call them the Ku Klux Klan. That's who enforced racial terrorism during Reconstruction. That's who used violence to enforce Jim Crow laws. That's who carried out the lynchings during the Red Summer of 1919. Google it. That's who still stops and frisks black people at 10 times the rate of white people. That's who still shoots and kills unarmed black citizens at 3.5 times the rate of whites. Because for most of America's history, there's been no difference between the Klan, the police, and plain old racists. So why don't we all know this? Because while Southern men were busy forming the KKK, Southern women were busy forming a fun club called the United Daughters of the Confederacy. The United Daughters joined school boards and formed lobbying groups to make textbooks more favorable to Confederates. And they got so powerful that textbook publishers had to get their approval before school boards agreed to purchase social studies books, ensuring that their version of history is the one that got taught in schools. So now you have to learn the real version of a comedy show. It is impossible to understand politics, the black community's relationship with the police, or why we even need to say Black Lives Matter if we don't learn the history of this country. So yes, let's have a White History Month. Let's have 12 of them. Otherwise, we'll never learn information that's crucial to understand our own country. Like the fact that once upon a time, there were slave patrols who became militias, who became Revolutionary Army, who became the police, who became the Confederate Army, who became the KKK. Just because they don't teach that in schools doesn't mean you can't learn it. But you're going to need a lot more trapper keepers. This has been How Did We Get Here?
Okay, and it's not discounting what she said, but I would have thought it starts with, like, knights. I've always wondered, like even before patrols and you know, you got knights and then, like, yeah, some geographical difference between the South and the Wild West, and not discounting it, just like there's more even to the concept. And what at some point your brain gets so abused that all of that, like, I've heard it 30 times. I'm the one that played it. I'm the one that shared it. Like, I care. And it goes through my head and it's like I need to listen to it again, I guess, because it said so many things at once. My brain is, like, soft. I'm stressed and I'm tired. And then you make me see, like, a black cop. You make me see, like, somebody, and it just, like, makes your brain explode. You make me, watch a cutesy video where they call the police. Yeah, right. That's your own stupid, assumption that everybody was going to be about criticizing the police. Really? Like, you know, it's how much, like, police and pedophilia, the level of sickness that COVID brought, what else just, like, wasn't in my world or discourse? Like, it feels like you got transported to another universe where that's all the world is about. Disease, pedophiles, the cops. You can't even say it's about critiquing capitalism, actually, because they, like, don't. They don't openly, like... It's, like, hidden in a protest against Starbucks or something. Like... Or Amazon unionizing. It's been put to the side. And given, like, an outlet to vent, but is not centered. What else? The whole world is about children dying in Palestine. I am half Jewish. I never went to temple. I didn't learn Hebrew or Yiddish. We didn't celebrate Hanukkah. I didn't have Seder dinners. Was not raised in the traditions. But genetically, I am half Jewish. I don't mind it. I don't think I have anything to do with Israel. Well, it feels like a very personal, like, I don't even have the background for my own identity. I'm a humanist, too. It's not like I'd suddenly start going to temple. You know, so it's like this big discussion. But you, as someone who is Jewish, watching children die in Palestine, and now it is like, you are a monster if you are not actively... But, I mean, you could have had me watch children die in Sudan, or Ukraine, or Taiwan, or Pakistan, or Venezuela. I mean, you have me watch people die, and I give a shit. I would give a shit no matter who they were. But it is very clear that, like, you need to actively be, like genocide in Gaza, when you were never even... And saying how you wouldn't have to go to Israel. Well, it was never a discussion. No one ever talked about this. It just wasn't... What did we ever talk about? There was Occupy Wall Street. That was like critiquing capitalism. But it still wasn't even like... Yeah, there's some Jon Stewart episodes. There's... Yeah, you're always on board with the civil rights movement. And even though I'm not religious, it was like a very ingrained, like, love thy neighbor. No one's above anybody else. You don't have prejudice. If you want to call that like a religious notion. I mean, I guess that's the best part. Like, it was just... in your coding. It seems so fucking weird you go out in the world in the 21st century and have to have the same fucking arguments they made in the 60s. What the fuck happened? COVID, police brutality, dismantling dissident populations, and swirling everybody away. And it's like the rise of fascism. They knew fascism was wrong. Who the fuck didn't know fascism was wrong? There was never a sense of, like, white superiority. That's fucking disgusting. It makes me want to puke. If anybody felt that way, they didn't say it out loud. It's crazy. Right, I mean, I guess that's the other side of the same coin. Like, they were never talking about race like that. Yeah, and they also weren't talking about race, like, at all. There was no Kimberly Crenshaw and Angela Davis. There was no Malcolm X. There was Martin Luther King. They were really heavy on Martin Luther King. Like, we did a community service every year. There was a mural. Coretta Scott King actually spoke at the school back in the day before I was there. But it was never like... Yeah, you just... Segregation is bad, man. Simple. And yeah, and it just comes back around to that. Well, we kind of like cleaned everybody up. And something that you could not describe before, like... Yeah, of course, myself included. Like, my story was designed to tell you how shitty my dad's life was. And then I'm supposed to break the cycle of poverty by being nothing like him, I guess. Like, simple. I am not... You couldn't interpret me as an alcoholic to save your life, and my dad didn't drink. He didn't have a lick of boot. He had mental health medication he was on. He didn't drink. I don't know, that somebody saying she's a raging alcoholic is the most bullshit. Yeah, you threw that shit at the wall and it slid down so fast it didn't even leave a mark. Like, it's so bullshit. Yeah, don't know where the fuck... Literally don't know where the fuck that's coming from. It seems like my left... towards my left. And yeah, I couldn't be more sober. I'm in, like, pain, actually. I need, like, anti-inflammatory medication. I am a medical cannabis patient. I can't afford any... I don't have anything, so... There's coffee. I've got coffee. I was diagnosed with PTSD in college and put on Effexor XR 75 milligrams. Was on it for 2.5 years, moved to Portland, decided to be a medical patient. It is my chosen medicine. It is a legal state. As long as you don't fuck with the weed, I'd stand by it till my dying day. Yeah, you can't be adding shit that shouldn't be in it or whatever. Or isolating cannabinoids. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, just to... There's that. I am being, like, terrorized every day by something that clearly is, like, bent on sort of hijacking my life, it seems. Right, even that just, like, kind of derailed everything I was talking about, so... Yeah, where do I want to go from there? it's not just about relating it to my own story. But I do have to sit in my own perspective like everyone else does. Yeah, so I am poor, I am white complected, I am genetically half Jewish, but it was largely invisible. I am a nerd person, I'm a vegetarian, I'm a libtard to some, a social justice warrior snowflake, you know. I'm a leftist. I thought Democratic Socialists of America was the right answer to things. Yeah, it's not a nice term, but you hear it, you have to like desensitize yourself to things that you hear all the time. Yeah, take the word back. You gonna call me that? Then I'm a tardigrade. Was a fun thing to say. Little impervious, invincible creature. Though apparently they only live a long time because they go dormant. That's what extends their lifespan. If they just were like living without going dormant, they only live like 2 weeks. But anyway, I thought they, yeah, kind of lived forever. Yeah, it's like saying you can live forever, but you have to sleep for 10 years at a time. And then you live for like a day, and then you sleep for 10 years at a time. It's like, oh no. Like, that's a sci-fi. Yeah, I'm a sci-fi poet. That's fun. Identity to have. I like to think of myself as an advocate. Yeah, I'm a humanist. I mean, what do I really identify with? Like, you want to call me something. Like, I'm a humanist. There's something that actually describes anything about me that, like... Well, 'cause what the fuck does it mean to be white complected? What does it mean to be half genetically Jewish? What does it mean to be, like... I mean... Yeah, there's, like, a whole big... But humanist is, like, I believe in universal human rights and science. Like... Yeah, separation of church and state. Though, what is the problem with that? Is like you can say that all you want, and it's like people. You need like a different. Yeah, I keep imagining this future where, like, I vote for purple, you vote for green. It's not about one of us winning and losing. It's just about like we're gonna do purple stuff, and you're gonna do green stuff. And everybody cares about universal human rights. So it's not like being purple or green means I'm going to enslave your ass. There's a boundary. But, like, we're going to be humanists and you're going to be Christians. And we're going to coexist by our own, like... But you can't go and tell me... Your concepts can't define my fucking life. You can't set me in a passion play. And yeah, I guess a sad part of the argument is like, I kind of think my concepts are going to define your life, whether you like it or not, because all you're saying is the sky is blue. But, you know, figure it out. There's suddenly sound. Yeah, just, is it supposed to mean something? Yet some people are puritanical, unempathetic, and disingenuous. And some people are accommodating, empathetic, and sincere. It helps to see the words, yeah. Oh my god. Why does it do this thing that is annoying? And save the goddamn... Oh my god, whatever. Open. Desktop. Open. Oh, because I moved everything. Sure. Open. Folders. Words. There you go. Stupid. So... And everything looks so tiny that it's not gonna fucking show up on the screen the right way. So yeah, puritanical. Unempathetic. Disingenuous. Not spelled right. And then, accommodating. Empathetic. And sincere. Yeah, you definitely want people to be accommodating, empathetic, and sincere with you, whether you are puritanical, empathetic, and disingenuous or not. Yeah, much nicer when it would go both ways. This is 2 hours long. Maybe it's a good point to cut it off. My back hurts. I'm hungry. I'm running on loaf everything. Yeah, I wake up with like a heart attack. I wake up in a sweat with my heart shaking out of my chest. For like 4 days in a row now. It's been 5 years of me saying the same shit. People were not helping me. There's no way they're just like so unaware that someone has been like stalking the building, fucking with my unit. I've said it. I've said it in 1,000 emails. Like, what it feels to be eaten by a bunch of people you'll never know who they were. I mean, what is... You hear about death every single fucking day. Yeah, they'll do an article about it. That, I mean, it's better than nothing. It's better than not saying anything. But, like... Oh, 1,200 people died. $142 were homicide or suicide. I wonder how many people were pushed into suicide. Like, somebody thinks it's fucking funny and they're... How many times, how many different situations, people that see they're worse off than you, no matter how bad you feel, and they are letting people die. And at some point, it's like, dude, it's like a warning. You better find money and not be homeless. They're gonna let you die. It's not something that they're fixing. And for fuck's sake, yeah, I typed in the judge that is supposed to be... I mean, it seems like there's multiple judges that could be doing things on my case. Why is it just him now? But, I just found this tonight. Let's see. Oh, give me a fucking... Like, if you have any awareness that this shit's been happening to me, you don't get to make me homeless. And then ever consider yourself somebody that believes in God or the law or anything. I think the AI picked up this one. So if you type in... You end up with... There's this. A pro tem judge and criminal civil referee expressed generalized criticism, a comment that mentioned them by name. Violating the Fair Housing Act, supporting corporate landlords. Though this is not a formal finding of misconduct. The idea, though, like, I had no clue that they had something to do with, like, capitalism or... And then, yeah, judges are violating the Fair Housing Act, supporting capitalist multi-million-dollar corporate landlords. The Democrat ones, which include well, both of these actually have been on cases with me. This one keeps denying my motions. And then homelessness is being exacerbated by the courts. Investigated for rent pricing, corporate landlord. People must be donating to election campaigns or something. Violating HB 2001. What even is that? Increase housing supplies, affordability. They want middle housing. Oh, it's like you can take a house and split it into 4 parts and then charge people. Well, that's all well and good. That actually does not help me. I need low-income housing, which is even cheaper than middle housing, personally. Not that you wouldn't fight for everybody's right to have a home, but yeah, I think there shouldn't be, like, you should own the home you live in and that's it. You shouldn't own somebody else's home. And I'm not sure how that works. Well, it's like, then the banks just own it, or somehow the government just owns it. There's no way to, like, there's got to be another way. Just haven't even thought of it yet. And then they get in some little tiff with. But I guess, yeah, that's like the only clue I've ever gotten, but maybe something is wrong here. And just what it is. Yeah, which also means, so, like, these guys weren't even involved with what that comment is. It was just posted in the... Yeah, the other option is that, dude, they're denying your motion to stay, even though I've submitted another one that they haven't gotten to yet. But denying things that, like, because they didn't actually file for anything yet. They were like, and you just don't know that. And I'm in absolute fucking limbo. Yeah, every quote under the sun. Everybody knew the right answers. Here's, like, just go through fucking Collective Evolution's little Pinterest here. Like, everyone knew the right answers. What? I don't know what to think of that. Everybody's a different person, but this shit, it's like that woman that got a ton of money because she called someone the fucking N-word. Like, the world, it's broken. It's broken. It's broken. It's broken and disgusting. Like, luck is not random. That's actually really cool. It's all purple, too. Well, luck is a series of events that worked out in your favor. but like inexplicably, like it's not like you really decided, yeah. Great. Hand motions. Yeah, I really need to see the, like, evidence here. What, you don't believe them? Why not? Is someone using me in an experiment and then they're gonna make me homeless? Like... Oh, but there's definitely something, like, there is a transmitter on their head. Yeah, I bought something called a Medi. Now, is there like a RD? God damn it. Isn't that what it was? RF head thing. Yeah, there's some kind of radio frequency thing in my laptop, but it would show red lights if it was on. There's nothing, unless someone put something literally in my head, like when I got hit in the head. And they did it back in, like, fucking 2012. And then have just been using me in a sad science experiment, and then are trying to, like, force me out of my goddamn room. All of that sounds real unethical, mean, and fucked up, dude. Like... People have been saying this shit for decades and then written off as crazy. I know. But yeah, I hit my head in 2012. I was passed out on the floor. This fucking thing hit me in April of this past year. And it didn't knock me out. And it was really hard. And yeah, I still feel it sometimes. Like I cracked the egg of my skull or something. But this was clearly, it's like something else. I don't know how I could have ended up on the floor over here. But yeah, they're linking with electroencephalography, whatever, EEGs. But they gotta attach something to your fucking head. It's not gonna just be like... Unless, yeah, you need to go upstairs immediately and see what the fuck is upstairs in the room upstairs. Like, period. Like... Yeah, what did they think they were gonna do? Continue the experiment somewhere else? They're just gonna kill you? Like... none of that feels like a good thing. This is from 10 years ago.
pick a category. They'll touch through a touch screen, and the category goes over to the respondent on the other side.
The respondent is not really gonna respond verbally. Instead, it's just gonna be looking at yes or no labels on a big computer screen, and this will be sufficient for brain patterns that are different and are associated to yes and no to be detected by an EEG system that is placed on top of the respondent's head.
On the other side, what the inquirer then does is waits for some brain stimulation, information that's transmitted through the internet, and actually results in the activation of our transcranial magnetic stimulation coil. Their job then is to report whether or not they saw a flash of light. And if they saw a flash of light, that indicates a yes answer. So they use that to continue problem solving and trying to figure out which item in the category the respondent is seeing. The subject is selecting a category. She picked food. Now she sees the possible answers and asked, is it a liquid? The respondent knows which food it is and is answering the yes or no question as to whether or not it's a liquid. You can see the cursor moving toward the answer that the respondent is focusing on. And the computer has decided whether the answer is yes or no. Now the stimulation is being delivered to the inquirer. The respondent answering the question is the food item served cold. And the stimulation has been sent with the corresponding answer. The final question the inquirer picked is it sweet? And
This tells me absolutely nothing. I don't get what the fuck they're doing, but...
Why do
Someone's been working on me for years to try to get me into a position where somehow I'm going to feel like it's my fault when they make me homeless. As if that's going to make you shut up about becoming homeless. And just like any story where it's like, oh, I guess I failed. I guess I wasn't good enough. Maybe I did something wrong. Like, bullshit. Just anything to try to pop the balloon of righteousness that, like, this shouldn't be fucking happening to you. Well, guess what? It shouldn't. And nothing you do is changing that. Yeah, righteous is in, like, you're right. Can also be used to mean somebody's, like, full of themselves. Yeah. Well, just how better off were people that got to spend their whole lives drinking Starbucks and working in a lab? And you're like, I'm a janitor and I'm poor. You should care about poor people. And they were like, oh my god, shut up. We're gonna use you for experiments. Like, thanks, guys. I loved science, too. They'd have ruined, like, everything. I guess look up the word telepathy. Why wouldn't they have a video on their own page about this? Like... Microgravity on your kidneys? So, is collective evolution kind of bullshit? Sad. That's even longer ago. Well, they're not bullshit all the time. You can't really be bullshit about copy and pasting a morally significant quote. That was what I was looking for and thought I would find. Like... But if this was so sincere, that should have come up, like, immediately. Yeah, like, what? Did you have to sit around and copy the things that I said? And you're calling me brain dead? You're a bitch. Like... This is the picture they were showing. Yeah, any chance that this shit might give you cancer? Each sender was in front of a computer game where they had to defend a city by firing a cannon and intercepting rockets launched by a pirate ship. But because senders could not physically interact with the game, the only way they could defend the city was by thinking about moving their hand. You twitch, and then it would fire a cannon. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, how that medi thing... Oh my god, what the fuck is it called? Mendy, that's what it is. And it's like a game that you play, and it's supposed to be like, just by thinking about it, you're making the ball move. But, you know, it's like a device that's directly on your head. Right, was it real? I couldn't really tell. Like... Mendy neurofeedback. It's gonna be the same website. Videos.
Training session, what you're going to see on the screen is basically a game. You're going to see a ball on the screen, some kind of light music in the background. Your goal is to try to get the ball to move up. So what's happening is Mendy is looking at your prefrontal cortex. When that activity increases, the ball moves up on the screen. This is called neurofeedback. The feedback part is you're seeing what's happening on the screen in response to your own brain in real time. And so your goal here is to get the ball to move up the screen. You may find that it's kind of difficult at first. That is completely normal. In fact, what some people recommend is that you not even try that hard, because you're going to get positive reinforcement anyway as the ball moves up. You hear a nice sound as it moves up, and it kind of feels good and it feels exciting when the ball does move up. So you're going to learn over time by kind of changing your state mentally. You will get a sense for it over time. And so what Mendy encourages is that you really give it multiple sessions, and it could even be a few weeks before you start to see improvements. After you're done with your training session, you'll see an overall score. You'll get to see kind of a graph of what your neural activity looked like over the course of that session. This is always interesting to look at, and the app makes it really easy to track this over time. Well, you're actually kind of doing it with your mind. During the training session, what you're going to see on the screen is basically a game.
So, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I guess you could also make the point about those movies that were like tracking people's eye movement somehow. I don't know how they did that. And then they could see where people were like paying attention. That's not what I'm looking for. An eye tracking experiment.
Hello, my name is Tom Smith from Birkbeck at the University of London, and I was asked by Adam Rutherford and Francine Stock from BBC Radio 4 to take part in a Christmas special they're putting together looking at the science of film. Now, my particular take on this question is to look at the actual psychological experience of people watching movies and use new experimental techniques to investigate how we watch a movie and how a directorial decision such as shot size or the presentation format of the film can influence the way that we respond to movies. So we decided together that we would actually conduct a little...
Do you ever focus that much on, like, it goes in and out? It's like a zoom. It feels like by... What exactly are you like you're looking at that bug instead of the other one? Instead of like the whole screen? It doesn't like open so that when you're looking at like the entire picture at once? What?
Pseudo experiment using a IMAX screen presentation, here presented in the footage on the right, and compare it to experiencing the same movie when presented on a laptop. So we took the reporters into the National Science Museum, where they have a large IMAX screen, and we got them to watch clips from a specially made IMAX movie called Fly Me to the Moon, which follows the story of these three flies that smuggled onto the Apollo space mission. The reporters watched this film sequence in IMAX, and then they also watched it on a laptop. Now, viewing film in this kind of small format presentation is becoming more and more common, and we aren't really understanding exactly how the choice of the presentation format can change the way that we appreciate the movie. So we decided to use a technique known as eye tracking to get a way of looking at the different visual experience of watching these same movies in different formats. The eye tracker is a device that you can wear on your head, that uses high-speed infrared cameras to record the movements of the eye, and through a process of calibration, project those back onto the image so we can see.
Okay, you get the point. You have to be wearing a device, though. Like... Yeah, literally and seriously. Either this was some fucked up thing that I never understood, or it's more just like a joke, a magic trick joke where they talk through like a pipe in the wall. And it was to make you look schizophrenic if you ever bitched about being like held under duress in your home. Which is, you know, terrifying and stuff. There is a giant brick wall, or sorry, cement wall behind me, but I've always thought because it's a cement wall, it's gotta be like super thick. They would have had to implant something directly into the wall to be fucking with me, right? And it was like built into the room. Like it would be safer than the fucking plaster wall on the other side that like... A nation afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation afraid of its people. Well, you deliberately kind of fucked people out of education. So, yeah, people are kind of scary. If, like... Or you did something where they learned math, but not human rights. Yeah, like... I guess, yeah, again, it's like, well, now it's almost 40 minutes later. Is that a good place to leave it? Is that a good place to leave it? Is that a good... The shorter the video, the more likely someone might ever watch it again, I guess. What? Yeah, it's time to beg and cry and plead for someone not to make you homeless. Oh my god. Stop. Did they seriously think you were gonna kill yourself? Do they get, like, points from somebody if you did? I'm not killing myself. If I'm found dead, it was murdered. My name's Laura Linda Gamari. I'm 36. Like... Can barely see my fucking face, but... Yeah, what a terrifying notion. You know, I just pay attention to the world we're living in. Like... Oh, are you saying I shouldn't have paid attention? Now that's its own psyop. Like... Yeah, this is all I have to go on. And there have been times... It didn't even, like, work when the first time I tried to use it. That's not even it. No, I can't pay for shit. They said you could do whatever you want. In what sense? And that was like literally somebody yelling outside. Why don't you just pretend it's not happening? What? Like, I mean, it's seriously as if it's somebody's like, yeah, we're gonna, like, pretend it's not happening. And then it won't happen. Why don't you just, like... I don't understand half this shit. It doesn't make any sense, right? And yet, the idea, you can't hold it's like terms of service. You can't hold shit against anyone. The new thing I just filed isn't even on there. Yeah, it was accepted. Or it was, where is it? I've never been showing off. I don't... There, yeah, 7 hours ago. And then the one from just before that is still not decided on. Yeah, I don't know, you can remember, like, this is social murder. They think everybody just got a real big advance. I don't know what that means. Like... The Fair Housing Act. Discrimination in housing based on disability and prohibits and mandates reasonable accommodations or modifications. What social murder is: premature death caused by oppressive social, economic, political conditions. Yet, where ruling class or state is aware of the consequences, fails to act, effectively making them responsible. And then you could do, like, 1,000 articles about how very aware they are. Like, just go to the news and type in homeless. Oh, it has to be about Portland or you don't care? Fine. News. Even though that's kind of bullshit, too. Well, just to only care about one place and not everywhere. Yeah, how about that awful thing you just read that 1,200 people died? I am scared of how, like, you're just a drop in the ocean to somebody. What are you to them? ProPublica. K Rambo. Oh, to give credit, yeah. $1,200 people from 2019 to 2023. And those were the counted. There's always the uncounted. And yeah, then this is, exactly, this is the government knowing, it's not even just like an interpretation in an article. It's coming from the government. Well, that's what it means to say the government knew. More than knew. And someone's like, oh, I'm just scared of being held accountable. You're just supposed to say stop. What is wrong with you? Just say stop. It's like, we're gonna let, yeah, that fucking image of, like, the train, parable thing hits one person versus a bunch meme. Yeah, somebody took this and changed it to, like, make it stop. Yeah. And you're just worried that you're gonna get in trouble for it? Just stop the fucking train. Yeah. I want to find that exact one, though. Hey, you get the point. Yeah, stress makes tension. Tension makes my body hurt. My body without food in it hurts more than my body with food in it. You become just like a series of very basic processes. Someone is doing that sound thing and it's like vibrating inside of my fucking skull. We just want to show you what we can do to people. You're fucking evil. You keep showing that off every goddamn day, how stupid and fucking evil you are. All the sound equipment and the gasoline and the fucking terrorism. You had nothing else to do but fuck with me every goddamn day. And then I'm supposed to get right, they're trying to get you to kill yourself before you get stuck outside with them. Clearly, right? Piece of shit. I'm not killing myself for you. Why don't you just say some people deserve to be homeless and it was these fuckers with the cars and the gasoline and the speaker system? Because no one deserved to be homeless, asshole. Like, maybe if there was a universal basic income, there wouldn't be money in whatever the fuck these idiots are doing to me. Because there's gotta be money in it. Someone paid them to fucking harass me every day. Are they just cops? And they can't live with themselves if they actually had to give a shit about what they've ever, like, let happen? Good guess. And then for some reason it drove away. They're trying to like make a pretend heart sound or something. As if you're supposed to be scared they're gonna take your organs. Watched way too many fucking horror movies. You know you can 3D print organs now? Again, you wouldn't even have to fucking worry about that shit. Cared about science instead of being cruel. Some shit about losing your place. Like there's a line for something. I'm not in line for something. No idea what the fuck that is. You just try to make people crazy and stupid. Yeah, how much more could you know that it's literally just been an attack towards you every day? It is 2:33 in the morning. It's gone on and off for hours. No one's fucking here anymore. I can't even read the fucking article. Boom, 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 boom in my fucking eardrum. What point were you ever trying to prove, asshole? Because, like... I do imagine somebody apologizing to me someday when it's, like, way too late. Gee, thanks. So glad you're so fucking sorry. Again, the sound of someone, like, driving away. Followed by a booming thing. Yeah, there's gotta be more than one person. One person drives away, and then somebody else makes a stupid fucking sound. Just trying to get you angry. I couldn't be angrier. All the billions of dollars that went anywhere besides actually just giving people help is fucking stupid. Great. Really? Yeah, it's more like, oh, were you gonna go to sleep? Don't do that. They'll be bored and lonely. Let them, like, ruin you some more, you know. I hate, whatever, literary elitism. As if, like, other things aren't also books. Like, they could be reading a book on their phone. They could be listening to an audiobook. The image of somebody on their phone instead of reading is not even, like, kind of accurate. Like, someone just wants to take power away. Like, they were like, oh shit, this really, like, changes the world. Oh no. Yeah, there you go, banging on stuff. Yeah, you know what's also weird? They can do shit in such, like, a horrific way. They've literally, like, blasted stuff off on the street. And then somebody else doing stuff in, like, a kind of half-assed... Like, they're just trying to mimic somebody who did something. It's weird as fuck, okay? Like... It's still... Yeah, someone feels deliberately screwing with you, but, like... Oh yeah, someone who also uses the computer to do their shit. Like, without the internet, what the fuck would this even be? That's interesting, isn't it? Like... Yeah, complain about the internet on the internet some more. Makes total sense. Everybody, somebody's everything. And there goes my speaker shut off because some loser is mad I didn't react the way they wanted to. Get out of my fucking life, bitch. I'm mad at every single person that let this happen and thought it was funny. And they won't leave me alone. Sick. And then there's always that feeling that someone describes your situation perfectly. But what, are you watching me from the moon or something? Why won't you fucking help me? You're kind of a douchebag too. I don't know, you say, stick up for me and say, people are fucking with this girl. That's really so hard? You know so well, you watched him do it yourself, right? Like, no, we want to just fill your brain with things to say and have you say it. And then laugh because there's no one to stick up for you. Yeah, you act like I did something to you, which is also just really obviously stupid. Because I haven't done anything to anybody. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. There's no one on this planet that can be like, oh, I am the source of all their fucking problems. Yeah, I stood up for universal human rights. That was for everybody. Yeah, it's 2:40 in the morning, 17th of January, 2026. Universal human rights or everything is bullshit.